House of the Dragon Episode 8's ending features a major twist and misunderstanding that sets up the true beginning of the Dance of the Dragon. House of the Dragon Season 1, Episode 8's chaotic ending sets up major feuds between the Targaryen children, with King Viserys' fate kicking off the Dance of the Dragons. Picking up 6 years after Driftmark, House of the Dragon Episode 8 brings the Velaryons, Hightowers, and 2 Targaryen factions together again as Driftmark's succession is contested. Now that the kids have grown up, Alicent and Rhaenyra's grudges have been passed on to a new generation, with such animosities boiling over at a large family dinner with King Viserys. The Lord of the Tides reveals that Viserys' illness has grown substantially worse over the past 6 years, with Otto and Alicent Hightower effectively ruling the kingdom. However, Viserys musters up the last of his strength to defend the names and claims of Rhaenyra and her heirs, with the king bringing all of his children, grandchildren, and nieces together for supper in House of the Dragon Episode 8's ending. After Viserys convinces the 2 factions to put away their grievances for his sake, Alicent and Rhaenyra sincerely apologize to one another. But this olive branch is snapped when Aemond and Aegon get into a physical fight with Jacaerys and Lucerys. Although King Viserys had already reaffirmed Rhaenyra and her children's positions within the realm, Alicent's misunderstanding of his dying words in House of the Dragon Episode 8's ending sets up a massive conspiracy in Episode 9. Is Viserys finally dead in House of the Dragon Episode 8? It was particularly shocking that Viserys was then able to survive House of the Dragon's 10-year time jump and then the 6-year fast forward after that. However, House of the Dragon Episode 8 reveals Viserys' life was at its end, with the king hardly able to recognize the now-married Rhaenyra and Daemon. Not only was he missing an eye, covered in sores, and skeletal, but Viserys could scarcely speak without wheezing and being hit with intense pain. After seeing his entire family gathered at one table for the last time, the stranger finally came for Viserys in House of the Dragon Episode 8's ending. Alicent had come to give him his tea, with Viserys mistaking her for Rhaenyra and discussing that he still believes in Aegon's dream. When Alicent left the room, Viserys took a few more breaths, reached out his arms, declared "my love," and House of the Dragon cut to black, officially signaling the death of King Viserys I Targaryen. What Viserys' dying words really mean. The last words that Viserys says are "my love" as he reaches out in the air, which is meant to convey the king finally reuniting with Rhaenyra's mother Aemma in the afterlife. Viserys never stopped loving Aemma Ryn in House of the Dragon. Even after marrying and having children with Alicent Hightower, Viserys was plagued by guilt for essentially pushing Aemma to her death, as his interminable desire for a son, despite several miscarriages, led to the queen eventually dying in childbirth. It was for this reason that Viserys maintained Rhaenyra as the rightful heir to the Iron Throne after finally having a son with Alicent. Keeping Rhaenyra as his heir was penance for pushing Aemma to her death after she had already given him a perfectly suitable successor. As his sickness took more severe tolls, House of the Dragon often depicted Viserys touching or admiring Aemma's ring on his finger, indicating he was patiently waiting for the day they may be reunited. In House of the Dragon Episode 8's ending, Viserys is finally able to pass once realizing he has done his duty by preparing Rhaenyra for the Iron Throne, passing on Aegon's prophecy to his daughter, and rectifying the grudges within his family. After so much waiting and pain, Viserys was now able to reunite with his true love in death. However, his last speech before dying to Alicent, who he mistook for Rhaenyra, will have dire consequences for House of the Dragon's Targaryens. Alicent's plans explained. Does she know Aegon's prophecy? Viserys accidentally tells Alicent the story of Aegon's dream, but it doesn't seem that she registered it as a historic prophecy. When Alicent comes into Viserys' room to give him tea in House of the Dragon Episode 8's ending, the king mistakes her for Rhaenyra, who had come into his chambers the previous night asking if he truly believed in Aegon's dream. Rhaenyra questioned whether she could bear the burden of this secret, but Viserys' speech to Alicent reveals that he has complete faith in Rhaenyra to continue the Targaryen rule and produce the prince that was promised from her blood. When confusing Alicent for Rhaenyra, Viserys says he does believe in Aegon the Conqueror's dream and sacrifice, but Alicent interprets this as referring to their son Aegon. Viserys continues talking about the prince that was promised uniting the realm against the cold and dark, and finally says, "You are the one. You must do this." Viserys is referring to the fact that Rhaenyra must be the one to carry on Aegon's dream and sit on the Iron Throne. But Alicent believes that this is Viserys telling her that she must crown their son Aegon. This miscommunication is a grave error, as it unintentionally propels Alicent to place Aegon on the Iron Throne instead of Rhaenyra. Alicent responds to Viserys' speech by saying she understands what she must do, meaning Alicent will conspire to wrongfully crown Aegon before Rhaenyra can ascend the throne. In doing so, Alicent begins House of the Dragon's civil war, as her plans mean stealing the Iron Throne from Rhaenyra and dividing the realm between allegiances to the Greens and Blacks. Following House of the Dragon Episode 8's ending, Alicent's plans begin with informing her father Otto Hightower and protector Sir Criston Cole that they must make Aegon the official king before Rhaenyra can intervene. What Rhaenyra's return to Dragonstone means for Viserys' death. After Jacaerys and Lucerys break into a fight with Aegon and Aemond, Rhaenyra decides that it's time to bring her family back to Dragonstone. Since Rhaenyra and Alicent had just made amends, the princess said she would soon return to King's Landing to visit with the Queen and King. However, she wasn't aware that her father would be dying that night, nor that Alicent would believe Viserys told her to usurp the crown. Rhaenyra being back on Dragonstone after House of the Dragon episode 8 seconds ending means that Alicent and the Greens will have ample time to arrange for Aegon's coronation and recruit the powers of the great houses before Rhaenyra has even received word of her father's death, since Aegon is the one in King's Landing with direct access to the Iron Throne, historic Targaryen crowns, and the High Septon, Viserys' firstborn son, is able to go through the process of officially becoming the king. Rhaenyra, however, will have no idea that her father has died until someone like Alicent finally informs the public of Viserys' death, which the queen isn't apt to do until Aegon has had a formal coronation.